Well, hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of Intentional Living with Emla podcast. I hope you're having a wonderful week so far. And I have a question for you today. Have you ever ignored what your body is trying to tell you, or just kept pushing and pushing through? And so many high achieving women, especially, are praised for powering through fatigue and stress and even symptoms, But what happens when your whole body finally says enough? Enough is enough. Today's conversation is about a powerful reminder that healing doesn't have to start with doing more. It starts with listening to your body. I usually say every cell in your body is listening to you, is whispering to you. The question is, are you listening? So today, I am meeting with Deidre Arms, and her work and her life as a person beautifully embodies what it means to live and practice with intention. And she is a board-certified nurse practitioner and the founder of Aspire Wellness Integrative Health. Welcome to the podcast, Deidre.
Thank you for having me, Emla. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, I love that you specialize in women's health and hormones and root cause medicine. And root cause, she is a girl after my own heart, helping patients move beyond just the symptom management into true personalized healing. And what makes this conversation especially powerful, that Deidre's approach isn't just coming from training, it came from her own personal transformation. When she told me her personal story, after experiencing a life-threatening spontaneous coronary, they call it coronary artery. She had open heart surgery, a cardiovascular event at the young age of 46. You look at her and you're like, oh, a young, healthy lady. We've all met that person who was just healthy, at workout the next day and, having fun. And then we just hear that they had a heart attack. So she made a profound shift when this happened, from practicing traditional medicine into fully stepping into integrative whole person care. And that's what I'm all about. Today, she helps women reconnect with their bodies, mind, body, spirit connection, and redefining what it really means to be truly well. So this conversation is going to be grounding, honest, and deeply aligned with what intentional living truly means to me. And let's just dive in. I just have, before we even jump in, as an advanced nurse practitioner, I want you to take a moment back into your life, what that health event did and how it awakened you. I want you to share with our listeners what happened.
Yeah, so that health event really aligned with how I'm practicing now, because I practice in kind of an integrative setting for a little bit, but it wasn't as deeply as I'm doing currently. And you're right, women oftentimes we're fatigued. We push through those things. We're high achievers in our fields. And so I wasn't totally listening to my body. I could just tell you I felt so fatigued that it was just an overwhelming. And the days went on, and truly, like when that event happened, I just have to tell you, it happened on my sister's birthday. We were planning a event for her. I had worked. Yeah, I had worked my job, and then I also taught at a university, so I did that in the evening. I was up like working 2 jobs. So when this just put a halt to my life that day, I just couldn't believe it. In my head, I was still trying to figure out how I was going to go to work on Monday, and this happened on a Friday.
Really?
I didn't want to call off. Like that obligation that we put on ourselves, that society puts on women. Like,
yes.
Yeah. So I really, in my head, was putting all those constraints on myself and like, oh, I can't call off work. I have to get through this. And when I called my sister to tell her, I think we're going to have to hold on your birthday party that we're having the next day. I said, but I don't know yet, so don't cancel it. And she was like, we're canceling. Yeah, it was just that obligation I put on myself. And then, you sit in the room, and this happened in 2020, so it was literally like pre-pandemic. So I was still able to have people in the room with me and just being there. But that night, when I sat on that unit, waiting to have the open heart the following morning, a lot of self-reflection was like, if I make it through this, what does the next steps look like for my life? Because I had lost a grandfather at 52 during his open heart surgery. And so we have this huge cardiovascular history in
Risk
my
in your
family.
family.
Yeah, and I just remember when I was waking up from open heart surgery, when they allow your family members to just come in for a few brief moments, and I couldn't see them, but I could hear my dad's voice. And I just remember saying, game on, God, whatever you put in my path, I will say yes to, and I will do this for your glory. And so it really did change, like, me saying yes to what God puts in my path, even if it's hard, even if it wasn't, I was comfortable with the, you know, financial money I was making. I was comfortable with my schedule. And so I went to a place of being uncomfortable and then just switching that trajectory of how I cared for patients, looking more deeply into cardiovascular, insulin, metabolic, gut health, hormones. And I was already like doing some of that, but not as deeply as I am now. And then there's that spiritual aspect, the mind, the body,
Yes.
where does your beliefs fall? And that's such an important piece to your healing. And I am a big believer that, like, if you can see yourself well, you can get there. It's when we let ourselves lie in that bed and think of those negative things that
Mhm.
keeps us down. So I would practice every day after open heart, visualizing myself climbing a mountain, because that's something I wanted to do because I couldn't even
Mhm.
walk to the end of my driveway.
Mhm.
And by 8 months, I climbed Mount LeConte in Tennessee, which is the highest mountain there. And
Wow.
that was like just a mindset thing. Like, I visualized what I would look like standing there, having my arms in the air, holding my hiking poles. I would envision, what does it feel like to have the wind blow in my face at the top of a mountain? Like, how will I be sweating? Will my body hurt? I let myself feel that before I
Mhm.
ever did it. And so I think that was a piece to healing, was
I love
mindset,
that.
you know, my spirituality, my you know, great supplements, great working in this field, uncovering other root cause things. But
Yes.
I would say mindset is a big piece of that.
Mindset reminds me, of the inner alignment piece of intentional living, the inner alignment. And then you have people in your life who have been supportive to you. For someone who's listening and feels numb or out of tune with their body, where do they even begin? Like, how does a woman who feels the way you felt back then, where does a woman start?
That's a good question, because it's not the same for all of us. But I think first is just believing in ourselves, whether it is we write devotions on a wall or affirmations, or we need to breathe life into ourselves. We need to, like, just start with saying, like, this is where I see myself. If you get a glimpse of yourself well, or even doing something that you love. I talk to women all the time, and sometimes it'll just be, I just want to sit on the floor with my grandkids, or I just want to be able
Mhm.
to walk to my car,
Mhm.
or I
Mhm.
just want to w- just visualize that. Spend time just thinking about what that's going to feel like when you do that, and just give yourself that glimpse of hope and breathe life into yourself.
I love that. So, I love that, this is why you and I connected, when we first met. And I think that we have lost a space for that inner alignment, for the spiritual and the emotional health. We focus so much on all the other aspects, and we've neglected the spiritual and emotional health. Where do you see the biggest gap right now in healthcare when it comes to emotional and spiritual health?
Well, we don't ask about emotional and spiritual health. It's not a piece of our healthcare model. And
Yes.
actually, like, a part of, like, the practitioners that have joined me, one of the things that they really love and that they speak about is that they can align their spiritual health with how they care for their patients. And that's a big piece of what the traditional model isn't doing.
Mhm.
We don't speak about spirituality. We don't speak about your emotions. I did say to, like, a cardiologist once, I was like, one thing that's missing in this whole world of cardiovascular is we don't even talk about adverse childhood events that could have led to this for
No, we
many of our
don't. Yeah.
patients. Like when did the story start?
Yes.
Diving into that.
So we often miss that, and because as healthcare providers, if we miss it, then our patients also miss that. So what are some of the things that you do at your practice which bring this whole person care into focus? All the nutrition, the movement, inner alignment, and positive social connections, those pillars of intentional living. How do you incorporate them into your practice? Like if I'm coming to you as a patient, what's that different from, going to a regular primary care provider?
So that's a good question. And we always start with the first phone call that you make and your discovery call to our practice. You will feel loved from that first moment. Our health services admin, Ashley, she just has a love for people and it shows. The caring starts there. It doesn't just start when you get to one of the practitioners. And then we intentionally make our visits always at least an hour, sometimes an hour and a half long, because your story deserves to be heard. This journey that you've had deserves to be heard and listened to. And then from there, we decide where to start. And it really is a shared decision-making model. Like, I don't just tell my patients, this is what you do.
Yeah.
I see where they're ready for. I just had a patient appointment today, and there was some things I was thinking, and my patient wasn't quite ready for diving in that deep and said, I'm just so tired of hearing people tell me that there's nothing they can do. So I'd like to start minimal and kind of layer that. And I always use that analogy, like your health is like an onion and we peel off the layers. If I cut you to the middle, we're all just going to cry because you're going to be uncomfortable with it. So
I love that. So little layer by layer. So little by little. So you shared with me earlier about your practice of gratitude, and how you start your day with gratitude. As a business owner, as a provider, as somebody who works with you have other providers with you and you take care of your patients. How has this practice of gratitude shaped your own personal nervous system, your mindset, and the mindset of the people that work with you?
I would say when you practice from gratitude, we always feel like what's happening in that day was meant for us, right? Even the difficult things. So before I even get out of bed, I am really just happy for what is to come. I have such joy for what we do here and such joy in my life. Like, it truly fills my cup. And so I'm never walking in feeling like, oh, I wish I had the day off. I'm like, what's going to happen today? I'm happy to see everybody when I get here, have my cup of coffee with them. And it feels like an intentional family is what we've built.
I love that. This podcast is sponsored by Journeys, your path to intentional wellness. Are you feeling fatigue, brain fog, low energy levels, and suspicion of inflammation? Most health problems don't start overnight, and neither does wellness. With Journeys, you can take charge of your health before you have to. Every cell in your body is whispering to you. But when we ignore preventive medicine, we wait until those cells are screaming. Journeys helps you listen to the whispers. There are 3 different lab test bundles to choose from. Starting at $199 up to $479, we measure up to 125 biomarkers, most that are typically not measured at your annual wellness visit. Normal labs is not a diagnosis. We get the most complete view, including hormones, nutrient markers that support energy, balance, and healthy aging. Each journey includes a personalized recommendation, one-on-one care from your pharmacist, and follow-up support to turn results into lasting intentional change. It's more than data. It's guidance, accountability, and a partner in your wellness journey. Intentional living means paying attention, staying curious, and taking steps towards the health you deserve. Start your journeys today. Click the link in the show notes. I just, and when you do that for yourself and for your staff, it has no choice but to overflow into the spaces around you. And that's where the patients come in, and then they're able to feel that. I'm going to ask you when it comes to cardiovascular health, we know that cardiovascular disease kills more people than all the cancers put together. And that's why I'm very passionate about it. So when you shared your life experience, it touched me because this is something I want to make sure that women are aware. If any woman is listening to us today, what is, I know that there's several different things, what are maybe top 2 or 3 things that you could tell women listening today to be able to pay attention to? It could be biomarker, it could be anything. Just give me 3 things that if somebody's listening today, what can they change or
Okay.
pay attention to or measure? Anything.
Yeah. So measuring apolipoprotein B in your
Yes.
cholesterol labs, it's not just about your lipid panel. Dive in deeper, understand that piece, because that is looking at plaque buildup well before it becomes an issue. That's one thing that, you need to know. Listening to when your body tells you, like, it's time to slow down. For example, I used to be able to ride my bike prior to that event. I would do 10 miles every day. Like, that's what we did. I got on my bike, I'd ride. I couldn't even go a mile. And I blame that on, like, oh, I need to get in better shape. I did
Mhm.
not, in my mind, like, I didn't want to believe that I wasn't
Mhm.
well because I had been told labs look good, this is fine. And
Mhm.
so I stopped listening to my own body. So always listen to your own body. And if the
Mhm.
provider you see doesn't listen to you, find the next one because somebody will hear you eventually. Don't
Yes.
wait until you have an event. Um,
Mhm.
and then I'm huge into insulin resistance because
Yes.
that is that precursor downstream, looking at things before it becomes diabetes. And really, we have the most opportunity to be preventative, right? So those would be 3, but the list is much longer, as you know.
I know the list is very long, but Deirdre talked about apolipoprotein B, and she said that the whole show for cardiovascular risk is not just your lipids. It's good to have your lipids under control, but it's very important to measure the apolipoprotein B. Every cholesterol particle in your body has a lipoprotein B on it. So we're looking at those cholesterol particles. We need to measure your apolipoprotein B, and this is not something that is typically measured on your average lipid panel. So you have to ask for it. And so, but if you go to an integrative practice, this is something that they will always measure, and then take steps either to hold your LDL to a more stringent level, give you supplements, figure out lifestyle changes that we can do. And a lot of this apolipoprotein B is very genetic inclination. So, and the second thing that she talked about there was listening to your body. Did I hear you right?
Yes, you did.
Yes.
Yes, you
Listening
did.
to your body. Listen to your body. I say every cell in your body is trying to tell you something. She said about how when she was riding her bike, listen to your body. You are with yourself every single day of the year. You're only with your provider once or twice a year. So listen to your body. You have a better ear to listen to your body. And the third thing, which is so important, is insulin resistance. She said we have a better chance at preventing rather than treating. So we just take care of it. And what are some of the ways that we can help help to improve, make our insulin more sensitive instead of leaving it to be resistant? As pre-diabetes, what can we do at that point?
So one thing I like to start with is food is medicine, Emla. Like,
Yes.
I really believe, like, sequencing in which you eat food, optimizing your fiber and your protein, like starting there, ridding of highly processed foods. Like, I usually will start there with people.
Yes.
Yes, we have lots of supplements that are really great
Yes.
for that. Berberine, for one,
Mm-hmm.
can help. But I would say food is medicine, start approach first, move your
Mm-hmm.
body, do those things, and then we continue on to other things that would help with insulin sensitivity.
She said, move your body. She said, the first thing she said was, food is medicine. So, and then she said, move your body. So it looks like she's reminding us about the pillars of intentional living, because the first pillar is nutrition. The second is movement. The third one is inner alignment, measuring those biomarkers. And the fourth one is positive social connections. So she has just gone through that. Put the right food, nutrient-dense food on your plate, and then move your body. Movement is one of the biggest things that drives insulin insulin resistance away. It makes your insulin more sensitive, especially eating right after a meal, or just moving right after a meal makes your insulin more sensitive. And I usually would explain to patients, I would say your insulin is like the house cleaner. You call the house cleaner to come and clean the glucose out of your blood vessels and just clean them and convert them to glycogen and store them. But if you dirty the house so much, and the house cleaner comes and it has to do a lot of work, that's your insulin. Where you have to do more house cleaners to be able to do that work. It's just like calling on more insulin. So we want little insulin to do much work. So if you don't overwork your insulin, it's not going to get old and tired, and you're not going to need too much insulin, because the other side effect of insulin is weight gain. So this is a predisposition to metabolic syndrome and cardiovascular disease, and we want our insulin to be nice, tiny, and sharp. That's why we call it insulin sensitive, not insulin resistant. So you heard her talk about movement. That's number one thing that you could do, in addition to supplements like berberine, which we could add as in addition to the foundations of health. I have another question for you. What are you seeing right now in women's health that concerns you the most, or what gives you hope? Like, you can answer this question in both ways. Like, what gives you the most hope in women's health right now, or what are you seeing that really concerns you, that bothers you?
Okay, so what I see the most hope is that
Yes.
the FDA removed the black box warning on estrogen. That is hopeful for
Tell me
many
more.
things for
Yes.
women. Like, you know, I've been practicing in this space for quite a long time, and I believed in what hormones could do for your bone health, your cardiovascular health, your brain health, well before it was even thought of. And so when they removed the black box warning, even people who can't get to us are still being offered hormones by people. And to me, that's like single-handedly the best thing you can do in the women's health arena. What's frustrating is that there's still this misconception that hormones cause cancer, or that they cause cardiovascular, where the evidence points differently to that.
Yes.
And so there's still a lot of education we have to do, but that's a promising move forward.
I love it. Small, consistent steps in the direction of our dreams. And the direction of our dreams, we're hoping for that day when every woman will be able to take care of their body and lead the life because without your health, you cannot do all the things that you want to do. You cannot lead that fulfilled life. So I'm so excited at the pharmacy, we're able to compound the hormone replacement therapy, creams, and all the things for women and everything, and for men as well. So this is very exciting without the black box warning. And I'm just happy that we can be able to take care of patients the way we would love to be taken care of as well.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit, where can patients find you? If somebody is listening like, oh, I really love this, I want to meet that practitioner, I want to be taken care of by her, where can listeners find you?
So our website is aspirewih.com, or you can type in the whole name, aspirewellnessintegrativehealth.com, and you
We
can
will
find us
have that
there.
in the show notes as well. We will have her website in the show notes, so a link to get to her. Yes.
Yes. And then NP Deidre is my Instagram and Facebook handle, and LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn.
Yes,
So
you are.
Deidre Arms there. Really like to connect with other practitioners and people in our space. Often I think we have opportunity to, align together. I always say that, there's enough ill people out there that we don't have to compete with each other, that we can be a
Yes.
team, and that's what it really matters. And so those are ways you can find us. We have a free discovery call that you can book, and Ashley can walk you through the process and just what that looks like.
I will have a link to that free discovery call too in the show notes. And I'm very excited to share your knowledge, your compassion, and your dedication, like just your personal drive towards taking care of yourself and your practice and your patients. It makes me so happy, and it's so refreshing to connect with like-minded providers. And it just makes me so happy that you can take care of patients the way you take care of yourself, and the way you take care of your practice, the way you've built something special that will be able to help us and truly connect all those pieces, the nutrition, the movement, the inner alignment, and the positive social connection to deliver the healthcare that we are helping to keep people healthy, not
Yeah.
helping to keep people sick. Thank you very
Exactly.
much, Deidre. Thank you. If I was to ask you one last question, it will be, what is an intentional initiative that you will recommend that somebody can start implementing today that will give them a good change and a good tilt in the right direction for their life? What's a small intentional initiative to start practicing today?
I would say is in the morning before you open your eyes and look at your phone and put your foot on the floor, be grateful for something that's coming your way that day. I would say intentionally, like, love what life is giving you.
Oh my goodness. Before you touch your phone, before you put your foot on the floor as you wake up in the morning, be grateful for something great that's coming your way that day. Be
Yep.
intentional about that gratitude. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And that is life changing. Thank you for being on the show today, Deirdre.
Thank you, Imla. It was a
I
pleasure.
I really appreciate you. Thanks for taking time between seeing patients to you just share the beauty and the passion and the clinic that you have with us. I will have all the links in the show notes on how to get a hold of her and to be able to get that free discovery call with her practice and so that she can take care of you the way she takes care of all her wonderful patients. Thank you. And I hope you continue to live life with gratitude and intention every single day. And please, please, please share this episode with friends on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube so that more people would discover the good of preventive medicine. Thank you very much.